Box and Wireless Scotland, the very best of your box and wireless.
Dinky do. Now then, what have we got for you this morning? Well, are you a man or a woman aged between 17 and 43? Are you looking for a new challenge? Do you want to get paid during your spare time? Then come and join us, the 71st Engineer Regiment, brackets volunteers, close brackets. You'll be trained in basic soldiering skills and a variety of other skills, such as plant operator, combat engineer, signaller, chef, clerk, vehicle maintenance or combat medical technician. The minimum commitment is 27 days a year and you will receive territorial rates of pay and travel allowances for each day you attend training. We have vacancies in Lucas, Paisley, Elgin, Cumbernauld and Kirkwall, and there is a telephone number here to contact. Now, the 71st Engineer Regiment provides combat engineer support to the armed forces as well as specialist support to the Royal Air Force. Yes, we're talking about the Territorial Army. Now then. Ah yes, excellent stuff. The March Holyrood, of course. Now, what is this a précis to? I hear you scream at the wireless. My guest, I'm very privileged to have as my guest in the studio this morning, a member of the 71st Engineer Regiment of Volunteers. He is no lesser than a person than Staff Sergeant Billy Forrester, who's given of his time to be with us today to tell us about the Territorial Army. Good morning, Billy.
Morning, Scotty.
How are you, sir?
I'm good.
A very warm welcome to Lanarkshire's L107.
Thank you very much.
Yes,
thank you
great to have you. Scotland's #1 radio station. Now, Billy, this is very good of you to come in and see us this morning, because a lot of people see the signs and the advert for the Territorial Army, B.a.W.S, the regulars, the Territorials. There's combat, there's engineering, logistics and support, intelligence, IT and communications, HR and finance, medical, the music, the ceremonial. We've just heard the band playing the March Holyrood there. So there's a lot of opportunity, obviously, in the Territorial Army. We'll talk about the Territorial Army in general, Bill, if that's okay, and then we'll talk about specifically the 71st Engineer Regiment of Volunteers. Would that be all right?
That's fine, Scotty.
Good. Now, the Territorial Army, what is the difference between the Territorial Army and the regular army?
Well, first of all, the Territorial Army are part-time. So, I mean, they're normal Joe Public off the street. They've got their jobs that they go to Monday to Friday,
right.
And then they come in and they do part-time training with us in the TA. And learn their basic military skills and then go on and do their specific trade training.
Now, is this somebody that wants to be of service to their country? Is this somebody that wants to have an outside interest from the job? The job might be a bit humdrum and they're a young, fit person and they'd like to be getting up to something else?
Yeah, it can be maybe a combination of both, I suppose, Scott. It could be people that haven't got the time to commit fully to the regular army. And then by obviously joining the Territorial Army, they can obviously feel that they're doing their bit for their country by doing it part-time.
Right, now what's the big, there's a lot of attractions about it. I mean, people get misunderstandings about our armed forces. Their main function, correct me if I'm wrong, is peacekeeping. And if you're studying for a degree that would be suitable for a military life, it's usually a degree in peace studies that you take. So the army are all over the world helping people, aren't they, and doing various exercises and what have you to strengthen the regular army, but also to help out people that are in trouble across the world.
That is correct, yes.
So they're there digging ditches, looking for water, moving sand dunes, all this kind of thing. That's the side of the army that people don't necessarily see.
Yes, exactly. Any major incidents which happen in the world, the army is often called upon to assist in times of need, and people, as you say, don't see that side of the British Army at all.
Fantastic, yes, helping out with when people get flooded and all that sort of stuff. If there's major incidents and stuff, the army are always there doing their bit.
They are.
Yeah, and very often a thankless task in some ways from from members of the public, but very much a rewarding task when you're actually doing it.
Very rewarding, Scotty, yes. You feel that you're doing your bit, you're helping people out, you're there, you know what I mean, you're giving assistance to those that need it, and it can at times be very, very rewarding for the guys that's actually providing that assistance.
Now, you're Staff Sergeant, Billy, so you're a warrant officer, is that right?
No, I'm one below a warrant officer.
One below the warrant officer, forgive me, yes, but Staff Sergeant, so that means that you're a member of the regular army?
I am, yes, I'm a PSI, it's a permanent staff instructor, brought in to assist the TA with their training, so yeah, I'm actually in the regular army.
Right, so did you join leaving school?
I did, yeah, I joined when I was 16 years of age.
Now, you're looking very well on it, obviously it's not a bad life.
It's alright, Scotty, I've enjoyed it.
You enjoyed it, and as I say, you're looking very well on it. Now, you're recruiting at the moment for the Territorial Army.
We are, yes.
Yes, and in general then, what would be the sort of recruitment, what would be the goals and the barriers against somebody joining the Territorial Army? I mean, it says here, I notice, that welcome people from all backgrounds, whatever your marital status, race, ethnic origin or religious belief, there's a role for you in our team.
Yep, that's correct. Basically anybody between the ages of 17 and 43 can come along and can apply to join the Territorial Army. They can then go through the process. There's a certain process which we need to go through, various interviews, some paperwork to fill in, there's medicals, and then there's a selection course which they go and do, a 2-day selection course. If successful in them, then we then go on to the next stage of actually recruiting them into the Territorial Army. But the basic requirements is anyone between the ages of 17 and 43.
So you're stage 1 then. If somebody comes to see you, then you would make the initial assessment?
Yes, yeah, we would. Yeah, we would have them in. We would have an initial contact meeting, as it's called. Explain a bit about the TA to the actual individual itself, show them round. What I've been doing lately is I've been taking them in, showing them round our TA centre in Cumbernauld, explaining how we operate, showing them on a Tuesday night, because a Tuesday night's one of our drill nights. That's when we get the TA in, the Tuesday night.
Right.
So they come in, see what it's all about, and if it's still for them, then obviously we then go into initial interview ones.
And is there an ideal then? Do you get quite sort of excited when you see a certain type of person appear? You think, oh wow, we can definitely use this person, because I would imagine you might get the odd dafty turns up just to see what it's all about.
Well, I mean, everybody's welcome to come down, and the way I like to put it is everybody's always got something to offer the party.
Yes.
Everybody's got various different skills and things which we can use, so we don't rule anyone out. Get them down there, have a chat to them, and then we take it from there.
Are you looking for any qualifications, as such, written qualifications, GCSEs, that sort of thing?
No, that is not a requirement for us.
So that's not the area you're operating in. You're operating in practical skills.
No, because part of the actual process of getting into the TA, we do a thing called a B.a.W.S test, and a B.a.W.S test, it's just a small assessment basically for us to look at the individual's training, to see they get a thing called a GTA, which is a general trainability assessment within this B.a.W.S test, and providing they pass that B.a.W.S test, then that is all that's required for us within the actual TA itself.
Now, what if somebody turns up and they're a little bit on the plump side, you know, they've been at the cream cakes and chips, but you know that it's somebody with a lot of potential, somebody with a bit of ability? What would your advice be to them?
Well, the advice to them obviously would be that there is general health and fitness issues. Obviously you've got to pass to get into the TA.
Mm-hmm.
So I mean that's generally not for us to say, because they go through a medical questionnaire, and then the doctor's got to fill out certain things within their paperwork, and they get a thing called your BMI. So you've got to be able to
body
pass.
Mass index.
That's correct, Scott.
Yes, body mass index. But just the way life is, there's a more sedentary life around. There's one or two people who aren't as fit as they should be.
Well, I mean that's something which we can work in. I mean there's a basic fitness test as well as part of the selection within the TA. And it's certainly not difficult to pass. So I mean we realise that people coming straight off Civilian Street, they're not going to be fit as butcher's dogs, as they call it.
Fit as a butcher's pup.
However, we can work on that once we get them in, as long as they can pass the basic fitness test, the run, and then after that it's something that we can work on. We can work on their fitness once we actually get them into the TA itself.
Any height requirements, Billy?
No.
So from that point of view, there's a lot of flexibility here. You're obviously more interested in people's ability and trainability.
Yeah, that's correct, Scotty.
Yep. Now, you're the 71st Engineer Regiment, volunteers, brackets, close brackets. There must be a fair bit of history to this regiment. It wasn't just formed last week, was it?
No, I mean, the 124 squadron that I'm at just now in Cumbernauld, which incidentally actually we officially become live tomorrow. So 124 in Cumbernauld, it's a squadron within 71 Engineer Regiment, and we become live tomorrow, but there's quite a bit of history with that squadron.
Now, I have an idea of what becoming live means, but is that you ready for active service then?
Well, that's us, we're officially up and running, as they say, and we're actively recruiting now. We're an active unit now. Right.
So you're in business.
We're in business.
You're in business. Now, if somebody comes along to you and they're suitable and they pass all the fitness tests and what have you, what's the next step, Billy? What happens after that? When they become a member of the Territorial Army, what can be offered for them then?
Well, I mean, there's various different things which we can offer, especially within the Royal Engineers. The Royal Engineers, first of all, were dual-traded. We train our sappers to be dual-traded. They're soldiers first, and they're military engineers second.
Right.
And then, obviously, once they get through they do their initial basic military training, they then specialise in a certain job within the actual Royal Engineers, and there's many jobs which we can offer them within the Engineers, whether that be from vehicle mechanics, we've got clerks within the actual regiment itself, and then we're also on the lookout for chefs to come and work within the squadron itself down there at Cumbernauld and the regiment. But actually within the Engineers they can then go on to become signallers, they can be plant operators, there's various artisan trades that they can do, and that's all, as well as being obviously your soldier first and foremost.
Now, your soldier first and foremost, I mean, this has always interested me. If you're an engineer, if you're a sapper, you still would need to be very fit. You need to do your 3-mile runs, you'd need to, with the full pack, you'd need to do your swimming and all that sort of stuff. You're handling yourself, hand-to-hand combat. Would you cover that as well?
Well, we do interest lessons in that. I mean, that's something that we're looking at getting in on one of our Tuesday night training nights, is getting one of the local karate clubs. They've got to come in and do a bit of one-arm combat and just kind of teach the guys basic arrest and restraint techniques.
Yes.
So that's something that, it's just a sort of interest.
Because you might, even as the chef, you might have to handle a difficult situation.
Well, that's correct.
You know, you're there cooking away, putting the curry in the pot, and then suddenly somebody attacks the kitchen.
Well, there you go. And you've got the necessary skills there to defend yourself.
You're the first line of defence.
Defend the curry, as we say.
Yes, defend the curry at all costs, absolutely. Well, if you're looking for a black belt in karaoke, McClue's your man. Now, that's great, Billy. Now, so basically the soldier, now, engineering, would you look for people with original engineering skills then? I mean, or would you still say he's a chartered accountant, he wants to do something else, but he's also very, very good with vehicles?
As I say, it doesn't matter if they've got experience or not. We can train them once we get them in the door. However, if someone has got the relevant skills in artisan trades and stuff like that, then all the better, because then they can come along, they can either practice that within the TA and take it a bit further and advance their skills in that. Or again, they can maybe look at doing something else if they want to vary their life. They've done a wee bit of artisan skills and they want to look at another role within the TA. Well, that's open to them as well.
Is it, yes, and I see obviously do music and ceremonials, so you might be looking for bands people and, people that can organise the ceremonial marches and things like that?
Well, it's certainly something that we can look at doing. I mean, we don't have a band just now within the actual regiment, but I think it's something that's been discussed. And something possibly which could happen in the future, Scotty.
Yes, I think music's always very encouraging music and military service go very much hand in hand. People always feel a bit stronger if the band's playing.
Aye, exactly, yeah. Pump the chest out a wee bit.
I was like, pump the chest out a wee bit. Now, is there also a possibility, Billy, that if you had somebody who served in the TA for a length of time, they would then go on to the regular army?
Yeah, well, certainly that option is there for them. And the way I see it is if somebody is unsure about serving in the regular army and they're curious about it, then come along to your TA. Come along, get yourself into the TA, have a look at what the TA's got to offer you, and then if you decide that then, yeah, I like this is a life for me, then you can then take your steps, and you've got the relevant, you've got a background, you've got some military experience, and you know what to expect for when you join the regular army. So it's certainly a step in the right direction by joining the TA first.
Excellent stuff. Now, are you a man or a woman, so there's no problem what somebody's gender is?
No, absolutely not.
I imagine you get some very good women engineers, good women mechanics, etc.
Yeah, you do, yeah, exactly. I mean, we've got quite a few females down there. We've got a female chef just now serving with us just now. We've got another female that's coming through the books just now, coming into the actual engineer part of the things. So yeah, exactly. Women more than capable of matching the blokes at anything.
So the army's certainly moved with the times in these areas, hasn't it?
Yes,
they've obviously had a big think and said let's go with it.
Yeah, absolutely.
Fantastic. Now, age between 17 and 43. Any chance of sneaking in at 16? Any chance of still getting in at 44 or 45?
Well, if say for example we get an individual who's 16 and a half.
Right.
We can then start the process with him. We can go through his interviews, etc., etc., so that by the time he comes 17, he's already one step ahead of the game. So he's conducted his interviews, he's got all his health questionnaires and everything back from his doctors, so on, and so that by the time comes when he's 17, we don't have to wait so long for that process to happen. We can get them straight in. On the other side of that, if we've got somebody who's over 43, but they've got relevant civilian experience, and they can still meet the fitness and general health requirements, they can still apply to join.
So what would kind of the oldest member of the TA, I mean, do you get flung out at 43?
No, certainly not. I mean, that's just the criteria which we recruit in, and then after that, as we say, as long as you can meet the fitness and general health requirements, then people are still welcome to come.
So it's very much an arrangement, if you like, with the individual and the Territorial Army.
Yeah, I mean, we would look at it on a case-by-case basis, and as I say, we certainly don't dismiss someone straight away because they say that they're over the age of 43. That would be looked at on a case-for-case basis, and if there was a case to be put forward, then that would be put forward, and then hopefully we can get someone in the door.
Now, you're a staff sergeant, so you're a regular. Are there opportunities? Are all the officers regulars, or are there Territorial officers? Could you become a lieutenant or a captain or a major in the TA?
Absolutely. And that's one thing which we're actually looking for just now, as well as soldiers to join us at the TA. We're looking for young potential officers to come and join us as well within the TA, and there's certainly opportunities if you want to take that line and go down the officer route, then yep, absolutely.
Now, what's the sort of most senior officer one would go to within the TA then?
Well, I mean, that's hard to say. I mean, it would take, obviously it takes a few years for that person to climb the ranks into each.
So say they'd been in 20 years, they'd come to you at 17, they were now 37. Could they be half colonel?
Well, I mean, there's always that chance, Scotty. I mean, there'll be very few people will certainly make half colonel within that, but there's the opportunity is there, and I certainly wouldn't dismiss it. Yeah, it's very doable.
So if somebody was an outstanding individual and they had considerable experience and they knew what they were doing in a thing, they would be entrusted to look after that level of command.
Yep, absolutely. If as I say, if they had the necessary qualifications and the necessary skills to fill a command of that degree, then that's certainly.
Now, if you're a major in the Territorial Army, Billy, how do you compare with a major in the regulars? Would they consider you an equal?
Yeah, I think in this day and age, yeah, absolutely. You've got to remember as well, Scotty, a lot of the officers and some of the soldiers within the TA have actually served within the regular army as well.
Yes.
So some of them come out of the regular army for whatever reason, and then they decide that they want to still keep a part of that military ethos within them.
Yes, now this is very interesting. So somebody might come out of the army at 35, but say, would they automatically go on the reserve list?
I'm not entirely sure how that works nowadays.
It used to, didn't it? I think they used to say you could be called upon for years to come, kind of thing. But that might have changed now.
Yeah.
Again, I would imagine it's a personal thing. This is what I find is interesting and attractive about the whole concept. The army have really done their stuff to widen the scope here, and it's impressive because normally something that's a big group of people, they have hard and fast rules that's a one-size-fits-all. And it just is impressive the way our armed services, and the army in particular, have decided, let's look at the individual.
Well, exactly. I mean, and I think you've hit the nail on the head there, because what we do is we look at what the individual, look at that individual's needs, what that individual can offer us, and everybody is treated on an individual basis. Everybody's different.
Now, you're training people in basic soldiering skills, and then in their other skills, plant operators, combat engineers, signaller, chef, clerk, vehicle mechanic, combat medical technician, etc. 27 days you're looking for from them.
Yes.
And this is a question people would be very interested in. Do they get paid?
Yes, yeah, they do get paid. They get paid for every day that they work with the TA. They get paid for that, Scotty.
Excellent, yeah. So that, and are the rates comparable with the regular army?
I mean, yeah, the rates are very comparable. Quite a decent rate of pay. It's just, we say 27 days is the minimum we're looking for.
Yeah.
However, if that individual wants to do more than his 27 days, then they come in and do the 27 days, because, I mean, we work Tuesday nights. Our normal pattern of life
Box and Wireless Scotland, the very best of your box and wireless.